Time for another van vlog, Venerdi. It actually is Friday today, so let's give a little bit of a change there. I usually try to film on Wednesday or Thursday, but just didn't get to it. So I've got another topic here. Let me see what that topic is while I stop at this red light coming up here. I am paying attention to the road, people. Going like 35 right now. Anyways, if you could learn any language fluently, what would it be? Let's go with English. I don't think I'm quite fluent in that yet. No, I would, if I could learn any language fluently, what would it be? I mean, there is a good argument to say, like, let's learn Chinese fluently because there's just so many Chinese people and that's such an impact on the world. But no, honestly, if I could learn any language fluently, it'd probably be Japanese. I've always just been interested in learning Japanese, and when I say fluently, I mean, I'm assuming that means the way comparable to how I speak English. And I think it'd be very challenging, very fun. There's just so much to it, and my understanding, and I don't have a really great understanding on this, but my understanding is they have like 3 different types of alphabets or writing that they have. Writing styles. You have the kanji, which is the characters that they use. You know, the things that looks like, you know, a bunch of lines together, and oh, that looks like a house, or oh, that looks like a patio, or oh, I said something related to a house instead of something else. Oh, that looks like an alligator. That's kanji, and there's over 2,000 kanji characters, and it takes a while to learn those. And then you have your and I forget the other style, the names of the other writing styles that they use, but it's a very complicated language, which also at the same time, and I'm just going to be a little random here, makes me go, man, I don't really want to learn the language. Not because it's complicated, but you got to understand the reason it's complicated. The reason the Japanese language is so complicated is because it was designed to be difficult to learn. It was designed to isolate the Japanese people from, now this was a while ago, so I'm not talking like people today in Japan want to isolate themselves. But what I am saying is that language was designed to isolate the Japanese people from the rest of the world. And that's a burp there. Didn't expect that to happen, but it's designed to isolate the Japanese people from the rest of the world. And so it made intentionally difficult for those purposes. And so part of me goes, well, why should I learn a language that doesn't really want me to learn it? And at the same time, though, I'll say that unless you're in like rural areas of Japan, a lot of people in Japan speak English, are close enough to it that you could survive if you went there. So I will definitely say that nothing against the Japanese people. I know, and it's kind of amazing to me, because I mean, not just Japan, but in other countries too, the number of people who speak English, the number of people that I hear these stories and these tells of people who are, they're learning English from, say, the age of 5 or something of that nature, and they learn it all through school. So they may go for like 12, 13 years of learning English, and some of them, I will say, do very, very well in speaking English. And it's like, we don't do that here in America. I mean, now I do say when I was growing up, we didn't really do it. Now they are starting to learn other languages more often and starting at an earlier age, learning Spanish or French or whatnot. But I don't know. It's just like, it's amazing to me how many foreigners that I know who speak really well speak English really well. I don't speak English really well apparently. And I don't know, it's just amazing to me because, I mean, and for me, learning a foreign language is one of my most difficult subjects. I don't know why. I think that learning Japanese would be, and I know, here's what I'm going to say. There's a reason I think learning Japanese, while it's listed as one of the most difficult languages to learn, I believe it's the Department of Defense, if I remember correctly, they have a list of like a tiers of languages to learn, and like which is the hardest and which is the easiest, and like Chinese and like Icelandic and like Japanese and Arabic are all listed as like the most difficult languages to learn. And I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think, for example, it's like German is like, if you study 8 hours a day for 6 months, you can become decently fluent in it. Okay, so I mean, but you're studying 40, 50 hours a week for 6 months. I believe Japanese is like, you have to do that for like 2 years, and then you're just basically okay, decent, fluent, at fluency. But here's my theory on it. And my theory on it is this: I had such a hard time with, say, like German and Italian and Spanish or whatnot, because in a way those languages are pretty similar to the English language, or what I speak already. I'm not saying they're completely similar, but they're similar, especially German. German is very similar to English. And I think my brain just gets confused because it's hard for me. It's almost like I'm looking at a shade of orange and then a different shade of orange, and I'm confusing the two, and my brain is just not separate enough. So the difference isn't great enough, and I believe that if I were learning Japanese, I could almost compartmentalize it to something completely different, and there would be enough of a distinction between the two languages that it may be easier on for me. Well, leave a comment down below if you think I'm making any sense or not making any sense. I don't know. I'm not a if you know anything about that, say something about it, and kind of, am I going along the right lines, or am I just fooling myself? But I do think because I think I tend to overthink things, and I think that's the reason why I would have a difficult time. Why I have a difficult time with the languages that are so similar to English, but I'm rambling on about that. But I've always wanted to go to Japan, and I've always wanted to just maybe live there for a little bit, not a whole long time, not a whole long time. Like I said, I need to become fluent in English first. I don't want to live there for a very long time, but I've always believed, and this is just me, I've always believed that if you go to another country and you're going to live there, that you have some duty to be able to communicate with the people there, and to do your best to try to communicate with the people there, and that may be learning the language, or even just reading the language. Even if you can't speak it fluently, learning it enough so that when you pick up something at the grocery store, or you're looking at something, you can understand what's being conveyed to you without putting a burden on the people around you. Now, I will say this, and I have to my hat's off, and I've already kind of hinted on this before, to the people of Japan and to other people all around the world for learning other languages. And I'm certain that they don't just learn English in Japan. I'm certain there's a lot of Japanese people that can speak Korean and English and maybe Chinese and maybe Russian or all other sorts of languages. And I'll have to, so my hat's off to them for that, and I applaud them for that. So I would say I don't think I'd have to be completely fluent in Japanese to live there, but I do feel like if I want to live there, I do feel like I have a duty to learn the language. Also, I'll say, but now that's not the same as visiting there. I would say if you're just visiting and they want you to come there, and they want to entice you to come there, then I think it's their duty to be able to communicate with you. Same thing in America too. Like I go to Disney and I see them speaking different languages at Disney or saying things in different languages there, and because they're saying, hey, you're from around the world, come to a Disney or come to whatever the theme park is, so we need to communicate with you in the language that you speak. So if they're asking me to come there for whatever week, then I think, but I still feel like I want to learn the language. I still want to do my part. But I've always enjoyed things that were challenging. I just don't have time to learn Japanese right now. It's a really big undertaking. And that's another thing as well. And like I said, this is going to be a ramble. This is what these van vlogs are like. This is what I do. I ramble and I say things and my thoughts come out, because obviously I don't get the topic until right before I start talking. But one thing I've learned studying foreign languages, one thing I've learned studying foreign languages is, that may help, not drinking water, but it helps overall. But it's the fact that if you don't use it, you tend to lose it. All right? So I don't want to spend hours and hours every week studying a foreign language that I may potentially never use. So if I knew I was going to go live in Japan for a couple of years or something of that nature, yes, I would probably spend a good amount of time getting basically fluent in it, and then go there and work on my fluency a little bit more. But until I know I'm going to live there, I'm probably not really going to study it. I mean, I know that sounds terrible, and it's not because I know some of y'all are going to go, well, but you really want to learn it, and you keep on telling us in your other videos about how you shouldn't give up on things, and if you really want to do something, you should take the time to do it anyways, even if you're never going to become the best at it. That's true, but I also have a thing called time, and there's priorities that I talk about as well. And right now, my priority, even though I would like to learn Japanese, like if I won the lottery tonight, then maybe I will, quit my job and do things like spend the time to learn Japanese. But right now, I don't have the time to learn Japanese between my work and my home duties, and I'm not going to say that between the filming that I do and the learning all the filming stuff, but I have to make a choice. Do I want to film? Do I want to become better at this? Or do I want to go learn a language that I may potentially never use? And to be honest with you, I rather at this point learn what I'm doing right now, which is make films, make videos, make the YouTube videos, learn scripting, learn all those other things. Rather do that than learn a foreign language right now. And it just takes the priority. I just don't have time to learn a foreign language. And no, I don't want to spend 30 minutes every day learning a foreign language. I'd rather just go all in when I'm ready to do it. I'd rather just jump all in. And if I were going to jump all into a language, I feel that Japanese would be the language that I would want to learn. And I also feel that if anything there's issues with the Japanese economy. We can make an argument about that, but I still think I think it's like the third largest economy in the world. It would potentially open doors for jobs over there if I ever wanted to. That's something that could happen as well. I know people are going to say China as well. I don't particularly want to live in China. Nothing against China. I don't know. Or the people of China. I just don't think I want to live in China itself. Like I said in another video, the Chinese people are probably awesome people, and they're just trying to get by and live life just like we are, but at this point, there's just issues that I have, and maybe I need to look into it a little bit more with the government of China. I know that sounds bad, but I just don't necessarily feel comfortable living over there right now. But that's probably a lot due to my ignorance, and maybe I'm wrong about that. And you can leave a comment below about that as well. And obviously, there's also issues. I mean, as an attorney here in America, I have issues with not the Chinese, but the Japanese criminal system as well. But that's a whole other video. But if I'm going to learn any language, I would like to learn Japanese. And Noelle, that's my wife, y'all. I know you knew the answer to that already, Noelle. And after I'm done with this video, I'm gonna text her and call her and be like, "You already knew the answer to this, didn't you?" She screens all the questions, by the way. So she's awesome, y'all, and she's such an awesome mom and an awesome wife, and just want to throw that out there. It has nothing to do with the video, but I just want to throw that out there. So just want to say once again, I know I rambled a whole lot, and I really appreciate you all putting up with me and all this rambling. This is what happens when you get random topics and you just don't even know what they are, and you never know where they're going to go. I almost went into like the politics and the government of China over here, starting off with what language I would want to learn, but once again, so thank you so much. Please like, comment, subscribe. Y'all are so awesome, and I really appreciate y'all so much. I can't express that enough, and I hope everyone has just an amazing and wonderful day.